Pixar really hasn't had a good track record with sequels except for the Toy Story movies. Until now. Let's talk about Inside Out 2. By the way, if you like movie, anime, and game reviews, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Now, back to the video. Inside Out 2 is the follow-up to Disney Pixar's Inside Out, and we once again follow the inner mind, the workings of the inner mind of this girl, Riley. And last time in Inside Out, Joy, the driving force, the driving emotion in her, learns that all emotions are important and learns to accept that in life sometimes we have sadness. Now this movie picks up a few years after that, and Riley has grown into this incredible young girl who has a great sense of self. But if you've seen from the trailers and from all the promotional material, she is going through puberty, and that hits hard. And puberty brings with it new, strange emotions. So for those who haven't watched the trailer, the new emotions include anxiety, envy, embarrassment, ennui, and also nostalgia, but not quite yet. Nostalgia can wait another 10 to 15 years in Riley's case. So she's undergoing big changes, underscored by the introductions of these new emotions, which honestly are mostly kind of negative emotions, except for ennui. Ennui is cool, yeah? And these new emotions kind of take over her mind and kick out our old emotions, as well as getting rid of Riley's old sense of self, which has been carefully curated by Joy and the other emotions so that she feels like she's a good person. So at this point in Riley's life, it's the end of the school year, and she and her friends have just won a ice hockey championship, and she and her two best friends are invited to this hockey training camp for a long weekend. And on the way to the camp, she finds out that she and her friends are not going to be together after this, because they're going to a different school while she's going to a school to pursue hopefully a career or a scholarship in ice hockey. And having to deal with that and dealing with these new emotions who are changing the way she feels about things, changing the way she feels about herself, that proves a big challenge for Riley. Now, ever since the Toy Story movies, I feel like Pixar have not had any real good sequels. I mean, the Cars sequels exist. Oh god. And Monsters University is pretty good, but it's not anywhere near the heights that we associate with the Toy Story sequels, except Toy Story 4. And I was worried going into this movie because I just didn't want this to be Pixar milking a very good IP and delivering a substandard product. So luckily for me and anyone who's a fan of Inside Out, they delivered a more than deserving sequel which takes what has been set up in the first movie and explores that further throughout different stages of life. And that has always been a strength of these movies, is giving us a possible insight into what happens in our own minds. The only drawback here is that in the previous movie, they established these 5 emotions: joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. And now they're introducing these new emotions. And in the previous movie, they showed these 5 emotions are universal for everyone. There are only 5. And now they kind of have to retcon themselves a little bit. But that aside, what happens in these movies is something that we can all relate to. And that is this movie's greatest strength. Seeing Riley go through what she is going through and being able to relate regardless of your age, regardless of your gender. We've all been through in some of the situations that Riley finds herself in. This movie cuts through so many divides, and man, if you are someone who is emotional or emotionally sensitive, you are guaranteed to cry during this movie. And I have to admit, as someone who tries to lock my emotions away in a vault at the back of my mind, this movie made me get the feels. Also, this movie is incredibly engaging. It is an hour and a half long and it feels well paced, and the journey of these older emotions to rescue the person that Riley was is engaging because we as the audience, we are rooting for them. We want them to succeed because we want them to restore the Riley we know. And this movie teaches us a lot about how we develop a sense of self and how our sense of self isn't always necessarily going to be positive, but that is good because good and bad memories make up who we are. Man, this movie is incredible, and kudos to the team for just finding different avenues to explore after the first movie and feeling like this movie really adds to the tapestry of Inside Out. And that leaves me kind of excited if they want to make a third entry into the series, because where can they go next? Are we going to see an older Riley? Are we going to see a young adult Riley? Where are they going to go next, and what are they going to do with the emotions and this little mind world that they've built? All in all, Inside Out 2 is a great addition to the series and one of Pixar's best sequels in years, and it is a film that is accessible to both young teenagers as well as grown adults who can all relate to what the main character is going through. It is engaging, it is heartbreaking and heartwarming, it's bittersweet. I give Inside Out 2 a 9 out of 10. Also, what do you think of Inside Out 2? Did it make you get the feels? Did it make you shed a tear? A few people in my cinema hall cried, so please let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.